What's going on, GemMintC? It's your boy GemMint. Today we're going to take a look at every Doom Patrol Omnibus that has been released so far. This is my first time tackling the subject, and I figured with the success of the television show, it might be good to give readers an idea of where they can catch up on all the source material for Doom Patrol. Before we get started on the world's strangest superheroes, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Also, if you're looking to purchase any Omnibus, Absolute Editions, or Collected Editions, check out our sponsor, CheapGraphicNovels.com. They sell them up to 50% off cover price. They have immaculate packaging, quick shipping, and great customer service. Plus, they have a bargain bin where you can get titles up to 90% off. If you mention GemMint in the memo at checkout, your next order will have free shipping in the United States. So go ahead and check out CheapGraphicNovels.com. Alright guys, let's start off with the Silver Age Omnibus. So during this time, the country was changing, right? You had the civil rights movement, you had the women's liberation movement, you had protests on the war in Vietnam, and comics were changing as well. You got to realize that DC Comics started with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, these strong-jawed characters who were blessed with these fantastic powers. Well, this is kind of where we see a shift in comics, and we have heroes depicted with disabilities, or not blessed with powers but cursed with special powers. It's kind of funny to see the similarities between DC and Marvel at the same time. You're going to see a lot of comparisons to the X-Men when it comes to Doom Patrol, because they have similar type of themes, like that whole curse to be a mutant thing, their wheelchair-bound leader who is head of the superhero crime-fighting team. But actually, Doom Patrol came out a few months before the X-Men, so it just seems like the creators were on the same wavelength. Before we jump into the overhead shots of the Silver Age Doom Patrol Omnibus, I thought it would be a good idea to show you guys the binding of each book. So if you look at how this book opens up, you can see it lifts up in the middle, giving it a nice eye. This has very good binding, and it doesn't have any gutter loss when you're flipping through these pages. So I thought that was a big plus, and we'll try to highlight that with the other books because they're not all as good. So anyway, let's go ahead and flip through the Silver Age Doom Patrol Omnibus. Alright, so here's the cover of the dust jacket. You have the team there: Robot Man, Elastigirl, Mr. Negative, and the Chief. Here we have the back. Doom Patrol was created by Arnold Drake and Bruno Premiani. It collects My Greatest Adventures 80 through 85, then it's retitled the Doom Patrol 86 through 121. Has Challengers of the Unknown 48, and it also has a crossover in Brave and the Bold 65. The inside has a little bit of history on Doom Patrol and other omnibus that you can collect. Typical with these types of omnis, it's just a regular black hardcover with the Doom Patrol and the title etched into the book. You got a nice cover page. You got your creative team. And you have the table of contents. You got a nice forward here. This one was by Arnold Drake. And then here we go. Doom Patrol first appears in the My Greatest Adventures title. So your typical Silver Age book, you got a lot of text, a lot of dialogue. You have this misfit of superheroes doing their best to better the world using their powers, which, like I mentioned, are not so much as a gift as they are a curse. You have an irradiated man, Mr. Negative, who is wrapped up like a mummy. You have a human brain inside of a robot body for Robot Man. Elastigirl is kind of the most normal character, very Fantastic Four-esque, and it has like a vibe of like Fantastic Four when it comes to her types of powers, or like kind of like similar to the Thing when you look at Robot Man. And you have kind of your X-Men vibe as far as being cursed with these powers. And then you have like the Spider-Man vibe too. It's not like, you know, these are heroes that you would look up to. They're people who have problems, right? They're not your traditional heroes that came before. So let's see, do we have any bonus material in this book? This one just gives you a biography of the creators. With the Silver Age Doom Patrol run ending abruptly in 1968, we wouldn't see them in comics again until 9 years later, in the Bronze Age of comics, 1977. They return here in the pages of DC Comics through various titles until they show up in their own run. We're going to flip through and take a look at the Bronze Age Omnibus, but before we do, let's check out the binding on this bad boy. Alright, very similar to the Silver Age Omnibus. You have nice lift, you have a good eye there, and you have zero gutter loss. So great job on the binding here with this Omni. Let's flip through and take a look at the art. Alright, so the Bronze Age Omnibus, they started doing these different type of spines and artwork to give it a little bit more pizzazz. This team has some similar characters like Robot Man, but Mr. Negative is now Mrs. Negative. She is inside of a different body, and we're introduced to some new characters here. It does have all the covers on the back. And you have the creators here, Paul Kupperberg and Joe Staton. This one collects Showcase 94 and 96, which is how the team was reintroduced into comics. Superman Family 191 through 193, the new Teen Titans 13 through 15, DC Comics Presents 52. Then you have the Daring New Adventures of Supergirl 7 through 9, Teen Titans Spotlight 9, Secret Origins Annual 1, and then they finally get their own run in Doom Patrol 1 through 18. Also collects the Doom Patrol and Suicide Squad Special 1, Superman 20, Doom Patrol Annual 1, and pages from New Teen Titans issues 10 and Invasion 2 through 3. It also has a never before published issue, which was kind of kept on the back burner if they didn't meet a deadline. They never needed to use it, but it is collected here, which I think is pretty cool. Another little biography of the Bronze Age version of the team. Some other Omnis from DC. Similar to the Silver Age Omnibus in the construction of the book, with how it looks, with the binding, and you get like an embossed graphic of the team on the back, so that's pretty cool. They started doing that. Alright. Jumping into the book with the cover page. So you have Paul Kupperberg, but you also have other writers on here too. Marv Wolfman, John Byrne, Jerry Conway, because remember, this was collected over numerous titles before they finally got their own title again. And you have other artists here too, like Eric Larson before he went over to Spider-Man. You have George Perez on this book, Joe Stanton, John Byrne. So a lot of creators on here. We have a table of contents, which you definitely need here. You get the forward here by Paul Kupperberg, and then we're jumping into the showcase issues. So, Reimagine, Robot Man's brought back, but you have a new team, and this is during like the Chris Claremont era of X-Men. So it was all about like these diverse superhero teams. So you have a colorful mix of characters, men and women and robots, different ethnicities, and just trying to blend this superhero team in during this era. So you have updated artwork, you have them interacting with the other DC heroes at the time, until, like I said, they eventually get their own title. This book has a ton of extras. So this is the script for that long lost issue, and they actually mentioned that some of the pages were lost, so they had to have somebody re-pencil them for this book. So you get this long lost issue, script and pages. That's probably about the coolest bonus that you can have. Alright, here we go. The Doom Patrol Special. Got more scripting. Breakdown of the book. Letters page, which is cool. And then you get some like classified info on the characters. Ton of bonuses here, guys. And we got an Arc Alley that has its own table of contents. Very cool to see the pencil, the inked pages before they get colored. All right. Ends it with the biography of the creators. The first reboot of Doom Patrol ends in the Bronze Age, and it doesn't get resurrected until the 90s. With acclaimed writer Grant Morrison, this is considered to be the definitive Doom Patrol run, the inspiration for the show, and as you can see, the thickest and the longest run of Doom Patrol so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at the binding on this Doom Patrol Omnibus before we get into the overhead shots. And I'm sorry to say that the binding on this one is not as good. The problem is it doesn't have enough give in the ribbon and where the pages are sewn in. So you can see the book barely wants to stay flat. And you do okay in the middle here, but because it doesn't lift up enough, once you get to the end or the front, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to read. Don't let that sway you from reading this book. It's just going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it's still going to be worth it at the end of the day. Let's flip through and take a look at Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol. Alright, so the Doom Patrol Omnibus, Grant Morrison and Richard Case. You also have John Nyberg, Scott Hanna, Mark McKenna, and Stan Wooch. Here's the back here. Gives you a little biography on this version of Doom Patrol and what it collects. It's issues 19 through 63, as well as Doom Force Special number 1. Here are some quotes from the series and a little bit about Grant Morrison and Richard Case. Alright, here we have some art on the hardcover this time, not just a It looks like an omnibus. It's the same height. It's the complete collection by John Byrnes, so it's one creative team. But for some reason, this book doesn't really say omnibus anywhere on there. So it's dubbed the complete series, but I keep it with all the other omnibus, and it's the 2000s run of Doom Patrol. John Byrne does some writing, he does some pencils, but he also has help from Chris Claremont and others. This one is kind of the Doom Patrol team back for the first time. It's not like the other two reboots that we talked about where they added new characters or new versions of old characters. This is the Silver Age team basically in the 2000s. So you don't get whole new backstories. You don't have to learn about new characters. You just dive right in. Speaking of dive right in, let's take a look at the binding and then we'll take some overhead shots. So this is a much thinner book than the Grant Morrison one, and you can see that the eye is very pronounced here. You have a lot of lift. You have a little bit of gutter loss because the art actually goes to the very edge of the page. There's no white border, but it is still pretty good binding. Nowhere near as bad as that Grant Morrison one. So let's go ahead and take a look at the John Byrne Complete Collection. All right, and now the John Byrne Nonubus, not an omnibus, right? So got some help from Chris Claremont, Doug Hazelwood, and Jerry Ordway. Together again for the first time, because like I said, it wasn't a reboot. Don't call it a comeback, but it's the original Silver Age team brought back into this era of comics. This collects JLA 94 through 99, Doom Patrol 1 through 18. It has some other issues as well, like material from Secret Origins Annual 1. some extra bonus material here. And then we're ending it with some original inked pages from Secret Origins Annual 1. John Byrne with a digital 3D rendering of Robot Man. Got some cover sketches and mock-ups. And that's it, ending with the creator biographies. Alright guys, thanks for checking out my overview of every Doom Patrol Omnibus that has been released so far. Let me know what your favorite run is in the comments down below. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos or live streams. Appreciate you guys watching. Stay minty fresh. Peace.